Well, hello everyone. The OntarioGardener here, back with a bonus episode. I was going to do this off camera. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it on camera because a lot of you people like to see this type of stuff. So the issue that we're having, I bought this hob, by the way. It was down here, and I know we have safety hobs, but they're 0.75, and this is 1x speed. Hindsight, I should have bought one of the danger hobs earlier, but I didn't, so whatever. So the issue that we're having is because we have 17 groups, the initial groups are coming in well before we have any soup ready, and this is backing things up. Having to do more soup, I mean, to be honest with you, the chess boards here are really slowing things down too. So we're going to try to kind of have a mixed bit of automation with this. The first thing what I want to do is because we have the heated mixers, like doing the other pies are not the problem. And we are limited with our space that we have here. But we could do something like this. And then heated mixers won't cook cheese. They won't cook nuts. They don't really do anything. They just sit here and just look pretty, right? So what we can do is we can just do this. And then, I'm trying to find a not smart grabber. Not that, okay, this is do both smart grabbers because we're going to not be using them. Actually, no, we'll do it like this. So this way we have the nuts and, oh, sorry, we don't have to chop these. I'm going the wrong way here. We want to have the apples being chopped. Excuse me. I kind of made a mistake there. This doesn't need to be chopped. For some reason, I always think like the cheese has to be chopped because it would make sense that it would be chopped. But it doesn't. So ignore that part of it. So this is going to go here. This is going to go here. The only other way I thought about maybe doing this, which I might do anyway, is put this like this. I don't know if we're going to have enough space to do the soup that I want to do here, but we could do something like this, right? Do something like that, which is fine. And then we can have the cheese here. The nuts would sit here. And then the boards would sit here. Now that is very much not good. You want to have these all in one row. That's how you don't want to have these. You don't want to have them in a row. So if we do something like this, no, that's not going to work either. I'm trying to think of just how to I love if this would just squeeze into a 2x spot. I think we're going to have it something like this. And then like this, and then like that, which this is perfectly fine as well. No big deal. Put the boards literally over here. Now, it is a bit of a stretch to run all the way over here, but so what? The oven we're not going to be using for, well, I'm going to set it over here. This won't cause any harm being here, honestly. It's just there. And then what I want to do is we have the extra pot stack, which we're actually not using. So even though we're not using that space, I want to put this up here. And then I would love to get rid of some of these counters. Now, again, do we need all these counters? I don't think so. I'll keep 3 of them, and we'll ditch these 3 unless I need one of these. We're not going to need this portioner, so we're not going to throw it out either. We're definitely not going to throw it out. We're going to keep it for who knows what down the road. All right, so this is set up this way. Now, we have the Schmeat here. Now, remember, we got a separate Schmeat container purposely for this. So we do that like that. We'll have the meat coming out. I mean, you can use smart grabbers. It doesn't matter. It'll just reset themselves to meat, which is fine. And then we have to have that going into a combiner. And I know it's like, oh, you should maybe do these pies or no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that right now. I want to set up the auto soup. So this is going to go here. We're going to use the sink. Things that we actually have 2 combiners. So we wouldn't actually have to do the sink method. We could do it something like this. Is that beneficial? I don't think so. I think we can be fine with doing it like this anyway, now that I'm just looking at it. And then what we got to do is we have to get some corner grabbers. Basically, it's going to come out of here. It's going to go into this. Or how do I want to do this? Like, I want to end up having a portioner like this. And then maybe if we do it like, hold on, if we do this like this, I'm trying to think how I can squeeze this in here with the least amount of space used. The portioner won't be able to sit like this, and will it? Because I need a 3x3 area. Now, if this isn't here, we could always put this somewhere else too. Let's just see if we can squeeze it in here. We can rejigger a lot of this stuff, really. So the idea is if we do this like this, and we put the sink here, do this like this. Let's just put this one back like this. That'll feed into that, which is fine. And then what we'll do is we can portion from this, and that will go like that into this. Now, was that going to work? I don't know. And then what we'll do is the hob has to sit here. This will work. This is one of the designs I've used before that it's not the greatest design, but it does, you know, work, I guess. This, and then basically it would be that. So what we would be doing is we'd be doing something like this. And then this would be portioning into that. And then we still have to do the pots manually, which that can sit here. And then the onions. So how are we going to redo the boards here then? So I guess we have to kind of almost do this like this. Oops, sorry. Like this, like this, like this, which is fine. That's going to be here. This can't be blocked. I have to be able to access one of these two squares. But if we put the chess boards like this, no, we'll put the boards like this. And we'll put the onions here. Because right away in the beginning of the day, we'll take this, slap it on here. This will cycle around. We'll be portioning it from the sink. I don't know if this is the best way to do this. We're going to do a practice mode, of course. The cheese board thing, I think, would be okay like this. We'll grab the board, boom, 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 hit that, and then boom, there we go. And then they're closer anyway. Let's just do a practice mode. I just want to see if so this is going to be fine. That's going to do that, then that's going to go like that. And let's see what's going to happen. So we're going to go there right away. Because the issue that we have at hand, see, look, this works fine, is it's going to cook, and then it has to cycle all three of these. Now, it'd be nice if we could make this a little bit bigger, but we can if we want to portion the soup into a prep station. Now, do we have to portion into a prep station? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We wouldn't have to, but it has to cycle around. But you know what? Does it actually have to cycle around? It does, but it doesn't. Because the way it's doing it now, like, look how slow this is. It's just because we're not even at the meat stage yet. So the idea would be how to make this go faster. And, well, if we wouldn't have to, I'm trying to think, because they cycle anyway, and that's not the problem. It's just getting around to cycling it from here. It's going to portion. I think this is the right way, though, because you want to portion it from the sink. That way, the one behind is going to be cooked, and the one on the hob is going to be cooked. It just means that this initial thing takes a while. It'll basically be this much patience is we're going to lose. But because it's going to be portioning right away, as you can see here, I mean, this is just a mess here, which is kind of irrelevant. It'll be portioning right away, and then we'll be able to portion out 2 pots right away. And then the third one, I mean, a danger hob would be great here. We don't have a danger hob, so it kind of doesn't matter, right? So we're going to do something like this. I think this is fine, and then we're set up here. And then the way it's going to work is like that's going to cycle again, and then it's going to be stuck here. So how can we get it to where these will cycle through again? But then again, we have this much soup because we're serving soup, serving soup, serving soup. And then as soon as this, geez, I can't even do it, goes through, it's going to go back and then it'll cycle. Yeah, so it'll cycle the first time just fine. Now, the other way we could do this is that we do have a mixer, but there's no way to implement the mixer. Well, no, we could use a conveyor mixer. All that would do is chop the meat, so it would be slightly faster. But as you can see here, once we get backed up to this stage, I can actually just pull this out, but it won't actually do that because we're stuck. So here we have the broth, and then it has to cycle around again. Trying to see how this is going to work. It's just this isn't the ideal setup, but this is the tightest you can make this. If you're not worried about a 2x2 and have it bigger, you could do it a lot better, because you'd basically have the combiner combining on this side of the portion. You wouldn't have it the other way. Now, is there a different way to do this? I don't know, because we need 3 squares. No matter how you slice it, you need 3 squares. If we push this down the other way, we'd have the 3 squares, 1, 2, 3, but we wouldn't be able to get in here. That's the only kind of problem with that. And we can't run it with a conveyor belt, like with the pot. I think this is going to be the best that we can do. Excuse me. But we have the chess boards, not automated, but the hardest part is the apples, right? Even though we're going to be kind of using this another time, I think this is going to be fine for us, because what we can do is we can just take the one pot and put it on there and let it get like let it circulate, and as soon as it's mixing, then we can put the other ones on here. It's still a bit kind of wonky. I mean, the only other thing I could think of would be to put this combiner here, but the problem is then we can't do it because we have the sink here. And then that's not going to be automatic either, right? Because having this here wouldn't do anything. You need to have a combiner pointing at a sink. No matter how you do it, you have to have it pointing at a sink. And there's no other way to do it here with being able to use, we just don't have, it's just too tight. Now, if we got rid of the prep stations, we could, but I think leaving the prep stations is good because that'll hold 4, 5, 6, it'll hold 2 pots worth. And then what will happen is the end of the day, I'll make sure that this is loaded up with soup, and that's 4 portions right away. So we can get the first at least 2 to 3 groups done with soup right on pies. And then we have making the veg pies here and then making the apple or the cherry pies here as well. We really could use one more mat here, but we don't have one, so it doesn't really matter. And then I think this is okay. Now, can we rejigger this a bit? We need to start working on getting soaking sinks, because having auto dishes, even 2 soaking sinks will be fine for this run, because sinks are a pain in the butt. Smart grabbers, this is already going to be turned into a corner grab. We don't need any more smart grabbers. This will turn to what it wants to. This will be just basically copy discount, just copied. If this is discounted, it'll be 40 coins, and this is going to be 40 coins. This will be 20 coins, so this is fine. And then this is going to be discounted, which is kind of irrelevant. It doesn't, I don't, it's only 20 coins anyway. So it almost makes sense to not discount it and copy it instead. But no, why would we don't need to copy it. Like, it's just we don't need to copy it because we're not going to need more than 2. Yeah, well, we'll put it back in here. We'll just discount it because we're only going to need 1. And that's to set up auto coffee, which we're not even using coffee, honestly. So there's no point to set up auto coffee because we're not using coffee barely at all. It's more important to, this isn't going to be upgraded. Upgrade this to whatever, turn this back to a corner grabber, turn this into, eventually a soaking sink. Because the way it goes soaking, power, basin, back to dishwasher. So if we end up getting a dishwasher, I might buy it anyway. Because then, but it would just be using it for that day. But still, it's better than not using it at all. These pies, we have to really redo this. We have the flour now. We're going to need more grabbers because right now we have 1, 2. We only have 2 grabbers that aren't being spoken for. Now, again, this does not have to be this automated. I could just get away with this type of setup here and then take these 2 back. But again, we're going to be copying 2 every day. We're going to look for 2 more. Like, if we look for more, if we get conveyor belts on here, we can withdraw 4 at a time. So right now we have this here. This could be made differently because what I eventually want to do is I want to have, I keep saying apple, the cherry pies automated, and I might be able to squeeze that in here, because we still have to be able to get out. So we have 1 square here, and even if I squeeze it somewhere in here, we can move the nuts somewhere else. I don't know. And then the next step would be, we're gonna have 2 teleporters tomorrow. We'll buy another teleporter. They're gonna be 40 coins. So we'll be able to do something with teleporters. I don't know what we're gonna do yet with teleporters. It might make sense to push this system here over to here, and then this could be. Problem is we need more space. If this could be pushed up here and we could bring this frozen prep down here and somehow rig this up to have par-baked crusts, and then, or potentially move this whole setup up here to have the veg pies. Again, we need 2 combiners, and right now we're using 1, so we need another combiner. We need actually 3 combiners if we want to automate everything. Or sorry, 2 more. This one will go for the cherry pies, and then we need 2 more to go for the veg pies, if we want to go that route, which I think we do. So on the blueprint desk, we have 3. We're going to look for combiners, even if it gets to be late in the day, even a portioner, because then the next day, because we're going to copy it anyway, we're not going to buy it. So if we see a portioner or a combiner, it doesn't matter, because we'll be able to upgrade the portioner into a combiner, or just copy the combiner. It doesn't matter. And then, it's just, this is a very tight spot to put 4 different types of pies, but we still have things like pumpkin pie. I don't want pumpkin pie. We also have apple pie. Apple pies aren't as bad. The problem is we have apple here, and we may have to rig this up for apple pie, but that's why we have all the other flour. We have 4 bags of flour, which is really good, honestly, for this type of the run. I think we're pretty set up. We're set up pretty well. We have the safety hobs. I mean, we could use more hobs at this point. Ideally, I want to get a hob and upgrade the hob. So like tomorrow, we're going to get rid of this, buy these and get rid of it. If this ends up being a soaking sink, we're going to buy both of them right away, and then we're done with sinks. Well, at least for now. Teleporters we got to keep copying. So maybe I might want to even look for one more blueprint cabinet. I know that sounds weird because we're already running 6, and that's way over what I normally run. But we have a frozen prep station up there. We have a regular prep here. This frozen prep is going to be invaluable. Let's just run this one more time. Like, this is just a bonus episode, so we're not really rushing here. I just want to see how everything's done. Basically, initially, we're going to do this, and we're just going to let this cycle. Unfortunately, even though I can't put the sink anywhere else that would matter. I'm going to let this cycle right away to get the full, again, see where we're going to be losing, or not losing, but, losing time, I guess. It's just going to be for the one day, though, because tomorrow, the way we'll have it set up is we'll have soup in this prep station. We'll have 4 ready to go. It's going to cycle, and then here is where I'm going to start dumping the other ones. Now, we don't have another sink where we could help this process out a bit. We just don't have another sink. But this is fine. I mean, it's not that much patience. And again, this will be 2-3 groups. Dump this one in, and then here we're portioning right from this. I almost want to portion here, but it won't work because, again, it's with the automation stuff. So this will cycle around, and then we'll be at where they're all going to cycle. We just have to wait a bit. And it's not going to go any slower than it would have, a different way. Now, the only thing we could do, is there space? Where's the oven? Is there space to put the oven somewhere? If there is, I mean, here there's space, kind of. I mean, we just have to kind of run around this way. If we have the oven, we could get some of the soup going quicker, maybe. We just have to get it. We just have to get it cycled around to get the water in it, which isn't hard. Let's just see how quick that goes before we start. We'll start our day. So this, and then we just run this through this. It'll just cycle one time right around, and then I'm gonna grab this and then put that in here. And then what I could do actually probably is just do this, and then by the time this is done, that's gonna be on the hob cooking. And then we're gonna jump this back down here. Now, see, because we want to wait completely. We want to do this and this, and that way this will get going. We could do this because this would be a faster way to get it going. I mean, I didn't let it cook all enough. Do that, and then dump this one in here, and then do the same thing with this one. Okay, we don't have a sink that provides. Do we have another sink somewhere? No, because remember we threw the baby sink out. So hindsight, we should have kept the baby sink because we could have put it right here, and we could have manually gotten the first batches of this going. We have a sink in here, but we need that sink, and we have nothing to re-roll. There's no blueprints. But this is good. So the only thing we have to manually do is make the cherry pie fine. This is going to save us a lot of time. This is going to save us a whole whack of time, really, because as soon as we do the first 3 pots, then the rest is gravy. We don't have to touch it for the rest of the run. And it's not going to be any slower than doing it manually, really. All right, we're going to look for more coffee tables. Of course, we're copying them now. We could fit in at least 3 coffee tables or 4 easily because we have a lot of groups. We have a lot of groups right now. I mean, we're doing quite well. This is just very, very messy. I'm not proud of this. It's just very, very messy. But eventually, we have to get the teleporters going. And then what we can do is, have this going into, one of these and blah, 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 blah. And then we'll really redo this. Are we going to need 4 flour bins? Definitely not. But why not buy them? I think we bought them for 20 coins each or 30 coins or 15, whatever it was. But I guess you guys, this has actually turned into a full episode because I'm just jibber-jabbering with you guys. But I think we're ready to go here. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video or the bonus episode, please consider leaving me a like as well as a comment. Much appreciated. And if you're enjoying this series, I am. It's getting a little bit kind of hairy, getting a little tricky, but I do enjoy it. Hit the subscribe button, take the bell notification icon. Also, head on over to the Ontario Outdoorsman channel, which is my second channel. Link is in the description below. It'd be much appreciated if you could leave me a subscribe. A lot of content coming out in July, August, and into September. If you guys are interested in stuff all about the outdoors, head on over there. We much appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time.